I've been following Dead Mail since it was on the festival circuit last year, and I am so excited that this has finally dropped on Shudder. But unfortunately, I haven't seen many people actually talk about this one yet, so I guess here I am to finally spread the word of whether it's good or bad or not, because of course I was going to review it, considering I have been following it now for at least 8-9 months. But if you don't know anything about Dead Mail from 2024/25, let me quickly fill you in. Dead Mail from 2024/25 is a crime horror drama. An ominous help note finds its way into a 1980s post office, connecting a dead letter investigator to a kidnapped keyboard technician. If you're new here, I'm Hannah and I am the head of this horde, and I talk about horror movies here on my channel on Mondays and Fridays. But as always, when it comes to watching movies that I have never seen before, I am now going to go and watch Dead Mail off camera, so that way if you too want to watch the crime horror drama about a kidnapped keyboard technician, nothing will be spoiled for you, because nobody wants to watch a movie that you've just watched somebody else watch from start to finish, and I keep it spoiler free here on my channel, because nobody, and I mean nobody, likes spoilers.
Stranger danger! I'm not stranger danger.
To the woman in this movie who walks into a stranger's house knowing that this guy is potentially a kidnapper and murderer, like, did the kids shows you grow up with not teach you about stranger danger? Because, girly pop, what are you doing?
She's dead.
My plot and my description for this is probably going to be a little bit more stripped back than usual, because this being a crime horror, there's only so much that I can talk about without going into heavy spoiler territory, so this review might just be a little bit shorter than usual. Dead Mail is certainly an artsy horror movie, but it's not a style over substance horror movie, I will give it that, because there's certainly some substance going on here. The movie opens with you seeing Josh, who is being held captive, crawling out of someone's house with chains round his wrists towards a mailbox to put a note in the hope that somebody will potentially get hold of this note and come and find him. This then jumps to Jasper, who is the Dead Mail investigator, who is incredible at his job. Like, if something has gone missing in the mail, this guy can help you find it and get it going on to its current location. Like, he is great. And then there is a lot more that happens throughout the movie, but that is the basic premises. We start with a full shebang and then jump forward a little bit back in time, and then you'll slowly see the events unfold. I can't really give you more than that. The beginning of this movie does start with a viewer discretion advisory about how the content within the film to do with the kidnapping may affect some people who are watching this movie, but let me tell you that this movie is a 15 rated. And yes, it may affect some people, but I guarantee if you watch true crime or a lot of like crime dramas, you have absolutely seen far worse than what is in this movie. And it is certainly not something like the, let's say the Poughkeepsie tapes, or there's another one that I can't think of, which is about two tourists that get kidnapped and tortured. It is nothing along those lines. So while the viewer discretionary may be like a little bit of a warning, I don't think that if you are a die-hard horror fan, this is really going to affect you. The casual viewer, possibly. If you can't handle anything, possibly.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
You can split this movie into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, and 4, just to make it easy. And the running order goes 1, 3, 2, 3, 4. So you start at the very beginning, you jump forward a little bit in time, then you go back in time a bit, and then you see exactly how Josh and Trent first met each other, how things escalated to the point that it gets to at the very beginning of the movie. And then there's a lot going on in this, in the middle section, I'll say that. But the very end section, no, the end section isn't great compared to the first 3 chunks, because you really invested in the story that's going on between Josh and Trent, and there is another storyline that comes into it in part 3 that I then think starts to overshadow everything, and the ending just, it doesn't live up to the rest of it. It feels very like they had the rest of the movie and then they had to rush to create some kind of ending, and it's not really a satisfying ending, if I'm going to be honest. Like, out of all the endings they could have gone for, it's very lackluster. the plot just doesn't feel complete. Like, the middle two sections, there's some really sinister vibes going on here. Like, it does not go over my head, the significance of a white man with money and power and a history of possessive relationships taking a black man with knowledge and talent hostage in 1980s America. Like, this movie is very much about race. I can't describe it in any other way. Like, it's very... There's a lot of undertones of this in it, and it does make Trent even more unlikable. Like, this man has got some serious issues, but they are never actually addressed in the actual plot as to why he's doing the things he does. Like, like I said, the ending just isn't satisfying, and I would have been happy with anything but the actual ending that I got.
It's okay, I guess.
While the plot of this one might not appeal to everybody, visually and audibly is where this movie really does stand out. The entire movie has a lovely, grainy, gritty texture over the top of it, which is very reminiscent of when you had VHS tapes that were recorded off the TV and they got that kind of like static, grainy texture, so that it's very much that. And this soundtrack is full of like synth and synth wave, but I also clocked that there is a lot of theremin mixed into this. It makes you feel very uneasy. The music is used really wisely in this, and it does certainly alter how you feel as you're watching this movie. When there's a lot of theremin in it, if you don't know what a theremin is, it's an electric instrument that you use. You don't actually physically play it, you use your hands and move them further away from the instrument to change the notes and pitches of things, but certain notes will automatically make you feel really uncomfortable and on edge, and that is what this movie utilizes really well. They use those in the movie when the vibes are getting really sinister, like I mentioned in the second and third acts, and I have to give a shout out to its soundtrack because its soundtrack is great.
Gotta hear you for my theremin.
The actors playing Josh and Trent really are standouts in this. They give really great performances in their roles. And I will even extend this on to Jasper as well, even though he does have a lot less screen time than the other two. He's like the third main character in this, we'll say. He's also great with what he's given. There's a lot of lesser characters in this who really have very limited screen time, and I can't really tell you much about them besides this person works at the post office and this person works at the men's hostel. Like, that is about it, unfortunately. Like, do you build a connection with any of the characters in this? Not really. You are rooting for Josh to escape the situation that he's been put in with Trent, but I wouldn't say I had a real connection with either of the two because you don't really know that much about the two of them by the end of the movie. In the end, I am actually going to give Dead Mail from 2024/25 a 3 out of 5 stars. I think that the first 3/4 of this movie are far stronger than its ending. I do think the actors did a really good job with the material that they've been given, and the soundtrack and the visuals in this really are great. But the ending is just kind of lacking, and like I said, can I really tell you anything about these characters beyond like base level? Not really. But my opinion isn't the only one that matters, which begs the question, should you personally watch Dead Mail from 2024? If you like your horror movies flavoured with kidnap plots, 1980s soundtracks and locations, really sinister vibes, or anything that is listed here, you may like Dead Mail from 2024/25. So there you have it, my initial thoughts and my review for my first time watching Dead Mail from 2024/2025. If you've also seen this movie, I would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on it down in the comment section down below. And if you are interested in watching this one, like always, there'll be a link to justwatch.com in the description bar so you can find out where it is streaming in your country. If you would like to know where else you can find me, I am also over on Instagram and Letterboxd at HordesOfHorror, where I post every single horror movie that I watch, not just the ones that I talk about here on YouTube. But speaking of YouTube, I'll be back on Friday with another solo movie review, and this time there is a movie that's been on my watch list for literally years now, and it is possibly got one of the most chaotic backstories that I have ever heard to the production of a movie. So we're watching Nurse from 2013 because to claim a movie absolutely ruined your career is wild, and that is just one of the things that the actress who plays the lead in this is claiming went on behind the scenes of this movie. But if you also have another moment, next month in May, I'm also planning on doing a Q&A for the first time here on my channel. So there is a post over on my community page where I'm asking for your questions. Like, ask whatever you like, whether it's horror related, non-horror related, TV, tattoos, personal life, anime, like whatever you want. Leave the questions on that post and I will try and answer them as many as possible in the upcoming Q&A. So until next time, bye. An extra special thank you though to my regenerators here within the Horde for their support over on Patreon.